Cub Scout camping is supposed to be different than Scout Troop camping, and that's probably for the best. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about Cub Scout camping. Family camping, that's what it's all about. Last week, I did a video about how important troop and crew and all the other camping adventures are important for leadership, whereas Cub Scouts wasn't part of that. There's a very good reason. Family camping has a different goal than, say, a troop camping situation. Two different things. In a Cub Scout situation, the family, the whole family, camps with the Cub Scout. That's a very important distinction between the two. Helicopter moms in a troop can be very disruptive to its goals, whereas in a Cub Scout situation, parents are heavily relied on to help reinforce that program for younger youth. The camping environment is less intimidating than, say, a troop environment would be. So it's very important that all leaders of all the different branches understand that there's a major difference between the two. We want families to be involved. We want them to go camping with their children, with the Cub Scout youth. It's so critical that they have those opportunities in a very comfortable way of camping or experiencing the outdoors. Cub Scouts are also introduced very slowly to the basic skills, the simple things. There might be something where they build a little tiny fire to burn a string between two poles. That's a skill, fire lighting skill. How to use one of them spark sticks, that kind of thing. That's a Cub Scout thing. By the time they get into a troop, it's a little more involved. Now, one of the big focuses for Cub Scout camping is the parents. The leaders, the Cub Scout leaders, are parents. Usually they are involved with the other parents that are not leader, but this is family camping. So there might be even younger people involved in the camping experience, but we want them to also have a good time with their youth, to make sure that they're having a good time and all their needs are being met. So it's a different environment completely than, say, the other types of camping that we talked about last week. Now, this is important. Don't tune out if you're not involved in Cub Scouts. If you're in a crew or a ship or a troop, don't tune out, because this is where a lot of your scouts come from. That's where they come through the ranks in Cub Scouting and move into the other units. So understanding those two big differences and where that all comes from is critical to your own success. So don't tune out because it's Cub Scouts. This is to understand the big differences between the two. The goal is introduction, not mastery of any kind of scouting skill, just to get them aware in a fun way. That's the thing about Cub camping or Cub Scout involvement in the outdoors. It's to give them the overview, the basics. That's a critical thing. We don't want to go too deep, because that would take away from the fun that really is all about Cub Scouts. Basic camping in a situation for the outdoors. That's a big thing with Cub Scouts. Want to make sure that the parents and the Cub Scout are exposed to camping in a very favorable light. That includes campfire fun, songs, and all the different skits and stuff that go on at a campfire. It's not all advancement and all the other stuff that you might have with the others. It's really just to have a good time in the outdoors. Some of the quick lessons might be on respecting the outdoors, not to litter or do anything that would be a detriment to your camping environment. Being loud and noisy late at night, those are things that Cub Scouts should be instructed on, but not overly. It's important that they're having fun and the parents are enjoying themselves. Now in Cub Scouts, there's no such thing as a 50-mile hike, okay? That's high adventure is a wonderful thing on the older end of the spectrum. We want scouts to have fun. They might be going on a nature hike to identify wild flowers out in the woods. That might be something that's fun just to get them exposed to those ideas. They can leave their tent and go through camp. That is one of those big things that's big in Cub Scouting. Now, for most Cub Scouts, there's no patrol type activities or leadership. That is in the realm of a scout troop, not a Cub Scout pack. There's times when the Webelos or the Arrow of Lights, they might have a troop camping separately, but in the same area where they can actually go and see patrols and how that works and the patrol method and stuff like that. But it's purely a visit. It's not something that's implanted directly in Cub Scout camping. In Cub Scout camping, the Cub Scout is introduced to the outdoors. And it should be a positive thing. Whereas in a scout troop, the youth that are in there are leading others. So it's a little bit different between the two kind of camping styles. Safety rules exist for a very good reason. All of your adults' leadership should have gone through safeguarding scouting. Okay, that training that's done online, and that should be always up to date. If they're wearing a train strip, they are. So it's important that that's maintained. With that in mind, we do have girl dens, okay? They have the family oriented things, but it's all done with families. The families actually participate in the camping realm. So it's critical that safety is in mind. Make sure that the adult leaders get the proper training to do the proper things at camp. Balloon training is available throughout all the councils of Scouting America. So definitely look in your area for the correct training so that you can do these activities safely. And that's super important, super critical. That is job one of all adult leaders, is to make sure that safety is always being considered. And in that, you also have tools, age-appropriate tools. It's okay if they're using a small wooden mallet for a tent peg to put in to help dad or mom put up the tent. But, you wouldn't give them tools to clear a path with big loppers or anything like that. That's just not appropriate. So you have to keep the tools age appropriate. And that's true throughout your campsite. In Cub Scout camping, parents are supervising everything that's going on with their youth, with their children. So that's the thing about family camping. And typically it's a one-nighter. That's usually the camping experience. It's not multiple nights. That's up to the family if they want to have that experience at a campsite on their own. But for a unit, for a pack, it's usually one night. And the rest of it is done separately. So, but you got to stay within the guidelines of safe scouting. That is a critical thing. And we did do a video about safe scouting. And in that, we referenced a lot of the guide to safe scouting, which covers Cub Scouts. So if you have a chance, that's the video about the guide of safe scouting. So, Guide to Safe Scouting. Definitely check that out. If you can, I recommend getting some kind of downloadable that you can put on a tablet or a phone where you can actually reference that material. And you'll need that. It updates all the time. So they do have an online one, but it's not available in some campsites. So if you can, download as much as you can. And make sure that you have something that you can keep in hand so that if the question arises, you can answer it. Now with Cub Scout Camping, you also have a very simplified schedule. There might be 3 events, but the rest of it is open time. You need to have that open time for the age-appropriate play that might occur. We want Scouts to be in the outdoors having a fun time, and Cub Scouts need to be doing that as their first experience of going camping. This might be the parents' first time too, so keeping that schedule simple. Don't try to pile in every kind of advancement you possibly ever could in every minute, okay? This isn't Woodbatch, okay? Woodbatch has a very structured schedule, okay? This is Cub Scout camping, family camping. Keep it loose. That's the thing. Always remember that Cub Scout age children have different emotional needs, different things that they may need help with. That's why it's family camping. So the family is there, and they should be relied on to assist that Cub Scout through that process of exploring the new world of the outdoors. With Cub Scout Camping, you want to make sure that everybody involved is having a good time. There are councils that there are camps that have activities. So definitely look into that. In my council, we actually have full months of activities throughout the winter season, because I'm in Florida. That's the thing. They do a lot of camping during that time, and a lot of that's set aside for Cub Scouts. So it's a big camp, so they have many things going on, but they really want to focus in on having an adventure for the Cub Scouts to do all kinds of things at the council's camp. So critically important that you take advantage of those camping experiences. Hey, before we go any further, I want to personally invite you to come to the Campfire Chat. This is a live meeting. It happens on the first Sunday of each month, and it starts at 9 p.m. That's Eastern Time. And of course, I want to personally thank all of the members of the Patreon. They help support what we do here. In addition to that, we also have memberships available right here on this channel. Hit the join button and find out more information. There's a lot of nice little perks that you get for being a member and helping support what we do here. And one of those things is being recognized on our channel. So here's the list of all of the supporters of the channel. Cub Scout camping should feel fun and magical. That's the wonderful thing. So many times packs just go out and it's not fun. Okay, and that just pulled that magic right out from under it. So it's so important that it's planned to a degree, not every single second, but planned for fun. That's the thing that becomes magical. It's so much fun to go to like the campfire and sing songs and be able to roast marshmallows by the fire, and your parents are right there. So it's just they just love that. That's the big thing. They really get a lot from that because that being able to be a part of that. And then s'mores are great. Don't overdo it because they have a lot of sugar in them, so they that's Cub Scouts. But it should be magical. It should be fun, and having a good time. Now, when they're camping, there'd be great opportunities to do simple things like go on a nature hike, which is just identifying things you see on the trail. They stay on the trail with mom and dad and have a good time. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a great opportunity to teach a little bit the basics. Okay, those are not milk duds. I had to teach an entire pack that lesson. Those are the deer make those, so don't eat those things. So, but that's a nature thing, okay? So that's a big deal. So having those opportunities, make it magical, make it fun. That's the big deal. Now, whenever possible, you want to make sure you go to your council's camp. They will have a schedule of Cub events that they do. And they have the entire packs come out for that. It's family camping, but they might provide the food, so you don't have to cook in camp. They will provide a pool, a swimming pool, a waterfront, a firing range for all the shooting sports, whether it be BB gun or archery. I mean, that's the wonderful thing, is that you can use these tools as a Cub Scout. And we want them to have the time of their lives. And you can do that. They have the facilities, so definitely check out what is available in your area. Now, why adults sometimes get it wrong is because they are familiar with troop camping. Scout troops camp differently than family camping. A lot of times family camping could be out of the trunk of the car, okay? The tent comes out of there, the food is stored in there, and so on. And it's two different worlds. Do not run your pack like a troop. That's not the point. The point is to have fun and to really have a good exposure to the outdoors. They never have an opportunity. As far as I know, every school is indoors, okay? So, they go from your house to the school and from the school to your house, and they need this outdoor camping experience. So many times I've had Cubs come to me and says, we're going to sleep in a tent on the ground. And I'm thinking, oh no, they're not happy. And they go, wow! Because that's different. They've never done it before. So I'm grateful, because we need to tap into that magic, that moment when they go, wow, I really want to do that. That's the cool thing. Something to think about. Don't run your unit, don't run your pack like a troop. Okay? Troops are youth-led, whereas a pack is leader-led. The leaders of the pack run it, okay? So that's a very, very important, and it should be that distinction between Cub Scout camping and troop camping. Two different things. Now, with all that, it's important that we think about the train strip, that's on our uniform shirt. The train strip has a lot of meaning, and prior to 1980, it didn't exist. So it's kind of new as scouting goes. And that's an important thing. So if you have a chance, check out the birth of a train strip. It's It's interesting information, and we want to keep that train strip. A lot of times, scouts, scout leaders especially, they might be with a pack and a troop and a crew. So you got to be trained for all three. So that's the thing, to keep that train strip current. You got to keep that in mind. So if you have a chance, definitely check out that video. The progression matters when it comes to camping. Between Cub Scouts and a troop and a crew, they're all different types of outdoor experiences. And it's important to keep them separate. You know, there's a very specific goal. When we're talking about Cub Scout camping, we want it to be family oriented. That way it's fun and magical and special. It has to have that type of treatment. This is the first time these young people have ever slept in a tent in a sleeping bag. Ever. This is the first time. So it is critical that we think about that, and we want to make that special. They're going to have the time of their life. They're going to have a blast, okay? So it's important that that occurs. That way they have that great impression, and they'll move on to a troop, okay, that does more camping. They might do camping every month. Who knows? Now in Cub Scout camping, please keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it magical as much as you possibly can. Parents, you're there too, so the adult leadership is going to rely on you. So definitely step up. Think about where you could help out even more in the pack. So parents need to be thinking about that. If you think that outdoor camping with Cub Scouts is no, it's actually a lot of fun, and it's meant to be that way. Let's keep it that way. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Please put them in the comments. I read the comments, so definitely think about that. I mean, Cub Scout camping is different for a reason. Totally. And that's a good thing. So let's keep that going. Cub Scouting is so much fun, and it's meant to be that way. We want a positive experience for young people. They would never get this opportunity to go outdoors, sleep in a tent that they put up, go to a BB range. They never get that experience. Not at school. That's just not happening. So Cub Scouts is special and it's magical. So keep that in mind. And you are very magical because you're involved in scouting. Whether it be in a pack, a crew, a troop, a ship, it doesn't matter. You are special and magical to me because you keep that hard work going. You try your best to do your duty. And definitely, that is one of those things that you are a big part of. So keep up that good work. One of the big things that I would like to introduce here is roundtable. Now don't change, don't jump away. Don't be afraid. It's not that bad, okay? Let's find out if you need to go to roundtable. There's a simple 10-question survey on a video that I did, and I want you to check it out. So if you got the guts, definitely check out the video right there on Roundtable. Till next time, I'll see you on the trail.